why we have started our own Century Family Project, or what the most is calling the 100-year Family Project. Welcome. Today's short video I will use to give you just insights and what I've learned and what I've experienced on my own 100-year Family Project. Because I will lead by my own example. That is just what I'm often missing in this advisor world. Most of the advisors, that's just from my imagination, they don't talk about things they don't understand by themselves or they have never experienced on. Personally, I would say that's just the wrong way. Everybody has a family and everybody can consider to start his own family project to become just a better family. So, but that is not the topic of today's short video. Probably it will be a topic in the future. And I will take you just on a little journey. Through many discussions with wealth creators and family members, and in some cases, what I've recognized was if you ask, or if I was asking them, okay, what is your purpose? What is your legacy? Can you just describe this clearly? And surprisingly, in many of these discussions, I look in empty eyes. And I've recognized if I can inspire and I can give anybody else just an example, and so I can empower and I can encourage, that could be a great opportunity for me, but also that is just that in my interpretation that I can help in the right direction. 2 years ago, I've got this brilliant book from Dennis Jaffe, borrowed from the grandchildren. Some of you remember on my previous videos, and I've compared this book with the books of Jim Collins. I've got this fascinating book in my hands. And what I figured out was, in the end of the day, what Dennis was figured out, who is through his brilliant research, that isn't just rocket science. Yes, the whole world make things so complicated for families, not for the benefit of the families, just for their own advantage. But at the end of the day, it is just not rocket science, right? That are not impossible things what you can do. I've studied the book, I guess, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and it's now this kind of book is laid on my desk. And I studied this in many times. And I approached my family. You know, I have 4 kids, 2 daughters, 2 sons. I pulled them together on a Saturday at a breakfast cafe and say, listen, I have an idea. My idea is that we as a family will stay over the next 100 years. And not only over 100 years as a goal, how we can change the world, or what could be our impact over the next decade, over the next 50 years, over the next 100 years, and probably over the next 200 and 500 years. And it was just in testing discussion how my kids will react to this. Yes, in some cases, they know that their father is thinking back and doing crazy things, and we had a very good and deep discussion. And in the end of the day, in the end of this breakfast meeting, we have decided, okay, let's start our own 100-year family project. And the question arose, okay, what should we do? And the first step was, we have structured family meetings. I guess I would be saying most of you are familiar with this term family meetings. And what I can tell you, I know exactly what you feel in some cases. Yes, let's say the first 3 family meetings will be easy because there's a lot of energy and a lot of inspiration. But the next one will be probably a little bit hard to convince your kids it is just our instrument of communication and bringing everybody on board. Through this, we have decided that each family member is responsible in some cases to organize one of these family meetings. And yes, I assist the family member. And what we have also agreed on is over the last couple of months that each of us will have a role and a responsibility. And I give you just a little example on this if you want. You know, it could be that you are familiar with the planning of the next vacation. And in most cases, probably in your family, just you and your husband or your wife are responsible for planning the vacation. What we have agreed on is that there's a certain budget available, and 2 family members are responsible to planning the vacation on 3 options, and bring these 3 options into a discussion in the next family meeting. That is just to experience how do you come to an aligned decision. What in most cases just the ground foundation of each governance framework should be. And also to make in long-term approach and in long-term planning, what should be the evolving role of each family member. And he is in one interesting point what I experience. I mean, if I talk to families in regards to become a family of affinity, to become just a tribe of significance, you should be consider by yourself that you are break up with the thing what you're taught that the family is only structured on a bloodline. And if you bring this thing on the table on a family member, that you decide that the family is not longer an organization by bloodline, it should be an open system, that could be in some cases a very hard discussion. I've experienced this on myself as well. And we have taken a lot of discussion what kind of open system we are using for us, that we became just a tribe, just a family of affinity. And probably you have also daughters. And if you have daughters and they have boyfriends, and probably in the next future husbands, then you should ask, okay, are there any main criteria that we should develop? Who is actually the one that have interest to our family? But vice versa, is it just better to think inside out, how we can make us attractive for potential family members to support us on our vision, on our mission? And what I can tell you, you see the C100. The C100 is just a strategic private office for global leading entrepreneur families. And the challenges, what I face with my family and what so many families are facing out there globally, will be there in 200, 500, and probably in 1,000 years, because we are humans. And our mission is to support these families as a C100, as a strategic private office, that we will see an increasing count on more tribes of significance, of more strong families, of more families of affinity. That is just our mission and our vision. Coming back to the point, I know exactly what you feel if you want to structure your own family, what kind of thoughts are in your head. And probably in some cases, it needs courage to stand up in front of your family and say, listen, we should change something. We should something to the good of us, that we are become just a tribe, a strong tribe, and also have a discussion about inside of your family. If you want to become a tribe, to become a family of affinity, to become an open system, what holds us together? What holds us together that also each family member have the option, but also the right to jump out, to say that serves not longer my purpose or my mission, stuff like that. But in the end of the day, it's very, very, very helpful to have this kind of discussion. And it is helpful, and this is just what drives me, is to be a beacon for others, but also, and I can tell you that was just the first of advice what I've get from my first of my mentors. He said to me in several discussions, be an example. Don't talk about things what you have read in books. Experience on yourself what you want to advise others, that you can feel about it, that you have experience on it. That is just another discussion. And that is just what I've also see now in this environment. And I won't blame anybody else. But what I see, and that I will come up just with a critique, or what I want to criticize on, is there are so many books out there from authors, and I know exactly how hard it is to write a book. But if you are writing a book about things you don't understand by yourself, and in most cases that you want to taught the things what you have written up in your book to others, but you have never experienced these kind of content, that shouldn't be the right direction to support and serve families. So here's my outlook for you. What is on our radar screen for us as a family for the next months, years, and decades. We have decided that we have 2 or 3 times per year a strategic meeting as a family. Come together for a day, but using also the day as a family gathering. That we exchange our relationships on the one hand, but also to discuss our ongoing strategy process. Yes, I give the framework on this, but I invite my family members to come on board. Probably use it also. Make a strategy meeting 2 times per year. We have structured our family meeting structure. We met as once per month, and if it's not necessary to discuss important topics, we meet us every 2 months. We discuss how we can support each other, how we can take care of each family member, how we can take care of us. We bring up important topics, what we should decide on. Remember, learning to come to an aligned decision is just a strong attitude, and it's a strong skill, and it should be refreshed. And also, what I have decided to spend time with each family member to strengthen my relationship also to my kids, and vice versa. Not as an entire family, but give each family member just the opportunity to spend time with me for half a day or for 1 day. We've called it just the father-daughter or father-son time. And I can advise on you that's very, very helpful. And it's strange to relationship. So maybe it's just a little bit helpful for you. And what I want also to encourage and to empower you to have also just an idea, in decision to stand up and say our family should be structured over the next century. The reason is also, that's just my last sentence, I mean, we will live longer. And there's a great chance that you and I probably, that we are becoming just 100 years. What's the reason that we don't should structure our family over this period of time for the next 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, probably 1,000 years? That's fascinating. What about, can you consider that kind of impact goal that your family, what you have built up today, will be there in 1,000 years? Isn't that fascinating? I mean, if there are so many examples out there in this world, they have done this. And what I can tell you once again, that isn't just rocket science. All the knowledge is there. Put the pieces together, paint your own picture, your own family picture. So for now, probably it could be very helpful, and I will extend these insight of my family. I will give you just in some cases and sometimes a little bit knowledge, what I've learned, what I've experienced on, and it's just an ongoing process. But it is fun, it is challenging, but that's great. Please remember the question. And I will ask you, what is your masterpiece? What is the masterpiece of your life? What is it actually? Your investments? No. Excuse me, that's bullshit. That's nonsense. Your family, that should be the masterpiece. What will be last? Please consider. Until next, be bold. Many, many thanks.